The giant screen at SETI headquarters lit up with unprecedented energy signatures, casting an eerie blue glow across Dr. Raina Williams' face. After 15 years of searching the stars for signs of intelligent life, they'd finally found something. But not the kind of something anyone had hoped for. "Director Harrison," she called out, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "You need to see this." The facilities director hurried over, his weathered face tightening as he studied the readings. "How many?" "Over 300 massive objects just entered the Kuiper belt," Raina replied, pulling up additional data streams. "Their energy output, it's beyond anything we've ever recorded. And they're decelerating." Within hours, observatories worldwide confirmed the sighting. A fleet of ships, each larger than Earth's largest cities, had entered our solar system. Their formation suggested military precision, their technology far beyond human capabilities. At the United Nations Emergency Security Council meeting, representatives from every nation sat in stunned silence as Admiral James Thorne delivered his assessment. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at an invasion force. Based on their current trajectory and speed, they'll reach Earth orbit in approximately 72 hours. The Chinese delegate stood up. "What are our options for defense?" "Limited," Admiral Thorne admitted. "Our most advanced weapon systems would be like throwing rocks at a battleship." However, he paused, glancing at Dr. Williams, who had been summoned to the meeting. "There's something else you need to see." Raina took the podium, her dark skin contrasting with her crisp white lab coat. "When we detected the alien fleet, our quantum sensors picked up something unexpected. Not from them, from us." She projected a series of complex energy patterns onto the main screen. "Every human being on Earth is suddenly emanating some form of quantum energy signature. It's as if the presence of these ships has triggered something within us." The room erupted in whispers and exclamations. The Russian representative leaned forward. "What exactly are you suggesting, Dr. Williams?" "I'm suggesting that we may have capabilities we never knew existed. My team has detected these energy patterns intensifying over the past 24 hours. We're seeing localized space-time distortions, spontaneous quantum entanglement, and phenomena that defy our current understanding of physics." Before anyone could respond, every screen in the chamber flickered to life. A figure appeared. Tall, humanoid but clearly alien, with iridescent scales covering its face and multiple pupils in its eyes. When it spoke, its words were somehow perfectly understood. "People of Earth, I am High Commander Vexthor of the Galactic Empire. Your world now falls within our domain. Submit to Imperial authority, and you may preserve some measure of autonomy. Resist, and we will take what we want by force. You have 24 hours to surrender your world governments to Imperial control." The transmission ended, leaving the chamber in silence. Admiral Thorne was the first to speak. "Dr. Williams, how quickly can you investigate these energy signatures, if there's even a chance they could help us?" "I'll need access to every piece of quantum research equipment on Earth," she replied. "And volunteers. The strongest energy signatures are coming from certain individuals. We need to understand why." The UN Secretary General stood up. "You have whatever you need. All nations will cooperate fully." He turned to face the assembly. "We faced extinction-level threats before. Climate change, nuclear war, pandemics. Each time, we found a way to survive. We'll do it again." Within hours, a secret facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains became the center of humanity's resistance. Dr. Williams led a team of scientists working around the clock to understand the mysterious energy patterns, while military leaders from around the world coordinated their forces. The first breakthrough came 18 hours before the deadline. Professor Hikari Tanaka, a quantum physicist from Tokyo University, burst into the main lab. "Dr. Williams, the patterns, they're not random. They're a code." Raina rushed to examine Hikari's findings. The quantum signatures weren't just energy emissions, they were carrying information, like a program written into the fabric of reality itself. As they worked to decode it, more phenomena began manifesting worldwide. Children reported strange dreams of flying among the stars. Adults found themselves instinctively understanding complex quantum mechanics. Something was awakening within the human race. 6 hours before the deadline, Dr. Williams stood before the Emergency Council again. "The energy patterns are some form of genetic lock," she explained. "It's as if humanity had capabilities sealed away in our DNA, dormant until now. The presence of the Drachnid fleet isn't just triggering these abilities, it's breaking the seal." Admiral Thorne studied the latest reports. "Can we use this?" "We're already seeing results," Reyna replied. "The volunteers in our quantum resonance chamber are manipulating spacetime itself. It's limited, unpredictable, but growing stronger by the hour." As the deadline approached, Earth's response took shape. They would not surrender, but neither would they attack. Instead, they would send a message, one that came from a place of ancient knowledge suddenly remembered. When High Commander Vexthor's image appeared again, demanding Earth's answer, he received 7 words that would change the course of galactic history. "Leave now. This is your only warning." The Drachnid commander laughed, his multiple pupils contracting in amusement. "You dare threaten the Empire? Perhaps we should demonstrate our power." But as his ships moved to firing position, something unprecedented happened. The quantum energy signatures from Earth intensified 1,000-fold. In labs, homes, and streets across the planet, humans began to glow with an inner light that had nothing to do with conventional physics. The awakening had begun, and the Drachnid Empire was about to learn why some powers were meant to stay sealed away. The Drachnid Empire's first attack came at dawn. Energy beams capable of splitting planets lanced toward Earth's major cities. But instead of destruction, something extraordinary happened. The attacks hit what appeared to be ripples in reality itself, dissipating into nothing. Millions of humans worldwide had unconsciously reached out through the quantum field, their combined will bending space itself to protect their home. In the Rocky Mountain facility, Dr. Williams watched the readings with a mixture of awe and concern. "The power output is exponential," she told Admiral Thorne. "Every time they attack, more people are awakening." The Admiral studied the global map, where points of light showed human quantum signatures growing brighter by the minute. "What exactly are we becoming, Doctor?" Before she could answer, a young researcher named Marcus Patel stumbled into the command center, his eyes glowing with an inner light. "I remember," he gasped. "We all remember." The memories weren't just his. All across Earth, humans began experiencing flashes of knowledge from a civilization that existed long before recorded history. A civilization that had seeded the stars with life, that had wielded powers the Drachnid Empire could barely comprehend. High Commander Vexthor watched from his flagship as another barrage of attacks dissolved harmlessly against Earth's quantum shields. "Impossible," he snarled. "Our weapons can shatter moons. How are they doing this?" His science officer, Lidavir, analyzed the readings with trembling hands. "Sir, these energy patterns, they match the legends of the Ancestrals." "The Ancestrals are a myth," Vexthor snapped. "Stories to frighten children." "With respect, Commander," Lidavir insisted, "the myths speak of beings who could reshape reality itself. Beings who vanished millions of years ago, but not before seeding countless worlds with their potential. What if? Enough." Vexthor's scales darkened with rage. "Launch the dimensional disruptors. Let's see their quantum tricks handle that." On Earth, Professor Tanaka had made another breakthrough. In the facility's quantum resonance chamber, she worked with a group of volunteers who showed particularly strong abilities. "The knowledge is already within us," she explained to Dr. Williams. "We're not learning these powers, we're remembering them." To demonstrate, she lifted her hand. The air around her shimmered, and suddenly the group could see the quantum structure of reality itself, layers upon layers of possibility and potential. One of the volunteers, a teenager named Zara Ibrahim, reached out instinctively and touched a thread of quantum energy. The entire chamber shifted, briefly existing in multiple dimensions at once. Remarkable, Dr. Williams breathed. Zara, how did you do that? I just knew, the girl replied, her eyes wide with wonder. Like remembering the words to a song you heard long ago. The facility's alarms suddenly blared. Admiral Thorne's voice came over the intercom. They're launching something new. Multiple objects, giving off readings we've never seen before. The dimensional disruptors hit Earth's atmosphere like falling stars. Where they struck, reality itself began to unravel. In New York, Tokyo, and Lagos, people watched in horror as buildings and streets began to phase between dimensions, threatening to tear apart the very fabric of space-time. But then something unprecedented happened. Instead of panic, a strange calm fell over the affected cities. Millions of humans, their quantum awareness now fully awakened, reached out instinctively to stabilize the dimensional rifts. Children pointed at the distortions and simply willed them to stop. Adults found themselves working together in vast quantum networks, their combined consciousness repairing the damage to reality itself. In the Rocky Mountain facility, Marcus had another flash of ancestral memory. The seals, he gasped. They weren't meant to lock away our power. They were meant to protect us until we were ready. Dr. Williams' eyes widened as the implications became clear. Ready for what? For this moment, Professor Tanaka answered, her voice filled with certainty. The Galactic Empire's attacks aren't just failing. They're accelerating our evolution. Every weapon they use against us breaks another seal. Admiral Thorne received reports from around the world. Humans were developing abilities that defied explanation. Some could see possible futures, others could manipulate matter at the quantum level. In India, a group of school children had unconsciously created a quantum computer more powerful than anything ever built, using nothing but their combined mental energy. High above Earth, Lidiver burst onto the flagship's bridge. Commander, you need to see this. The science officer's scales had paled to almost white. I've confirmed it. The human's DNA structure, it's not natural. It was engineered, designed to unlock in stages. We're not facing a primitive species. We're watching the rebirth of the ancestrals themselves. Vexthor stood motionless, watching Earth glow with increasingly powerful quantum energies. In all his years of conquest, he'd never faced anything like this. The humans weren't just defending themselves. They were transforming into something beyond his comprehension. In the Rocky Mountain facility, Zura approached Dr. Williams with a strange look in her eyes. There's something else, the teenager said. Something bigger coming. I can feel it. What do you mean? The awakening. It's not just about defending Earth. It's about restoring balance to the galaxy. Zara's eyes glowed with inner light as ancestral memories surfaced. The Galactic Empire. They're about to learn why the ancestrals sealed away their power in the first place. Why some forces are too dangerous to be wielded by those who don't understand their true purpose. As if in response to her words, a new wave of quantum energy swept across the planet. Humans everywhere felt it. A deep primal awakening of power that had slept for millions of years. The time of hiding was over. The real question was, what would humanity become once fully awakened? And would the galaxy survive the transformation? Admiral Thorne watched the latest satellite feeds, showing the Drachnid fleet regrouping for another attack. Dr. Williams, he said quietly, I think it's time we showed them exactly what humanity is capable of. The awakening was entering its next phase, and the Galactic Empire was about to learn the true meaning of power. The quantum shields protecting Earth had evolved far beyond simple barriers. Now they shimmered with complex patterns, responding to human thoughts and emotions. When the Drachnid fleet launched their next assault, something unprecedented occurred. Not only did the shields absorb the attack, they'd redirected the energy, converting it into pure quantum potential that humans worldwide instinctively absorbed. Each weapon fired against Earth only made its defenders stronger. In the Rocky Mountain facility's central chamber, Zara Ibrahim floated several feet off the ground. Her consciousness merged with the global quantum network. They still don't understand, she said, her voice echoing with ancient knowledge. Every attack is breaking another seal. We're not just remembering who we were. We're becoming what we were always meant to be. Dr. Williams monitored the girl's quantum signature with growing amazement. Her power levels are beyond anything we've recorded. And she's not alone. We're seeing similar spikes worldwide. Professor Tanaka burst into the room, clutching an ancient tablet discovered in a Himalayan cave. You need to see this, she said breathlessly. The markings, they're not hieroglyphs. They're quantum equations written into stone millions of years ago, and they're identical to the patterns we're seeing now. On the bridge of his flagship, High Commander Vex Thor received increasingly disturbing reports. Human quantum signatures were being detected across the galaxy, awakening dormant abilities in other species. The Empire's iron grip on its conquered worlds was beginning to slip. Launch the chronosphere, he commanded, his scales dark with fury. If we can't defeat them in the present, we'll erase their timeline entirely. The massive weapon emerged from the flagship's hull, a sphere of dark energy that could manipulate time itself. But before it could activate, Marcus Patel made a discovery that changed everything. Working with a team of quantum-sensitive individuals, Marcus had been probing the deepest layers of human genetic memory. What he found stunned everyone. We weren't just sealed, he explained to the emergency council. We were hidden. The ancestrals, our ancestors, they saw something coming. A darkness spreading across the galaxy, consuming everything in its path. The Galactic Empire isn't just another conquering force. They're the echo of that ancient darkness. Admiral Thorne leaned forward. Are you saying this was planned? That humanity was meant to face this threat? Look at the evidence. Marcus projected a complex quantum diagram. Our abilities aren't random. Each power that awakens is specifically designed to counter the Empire's weapons. We're not just defending ourselves. We're implementing a plan millions of years in the making. As if to prove his point, when the chronosphere fired its temporal beam at Earth, something remarkable happened. Instead of erasing Earth's timeline, the attack triggered a mass awakening of human temporal awareness. Millions of people suddenly gained the ability to perceive and manipulate time itself. In New Delhi, a street vendor casually caught a falling cup of tea, freezing time around it. In Rio de Janeiro, children played games by accelerating and slowing time in small pockets of space. The chronosphere's attack had unlocked humanity's temporal seals. Professor Tanaka worked furiously to translate more of the quantum equations. According to this, we're only at the beginning. The seals were designed to break in a specific sequence, each one building on the last. The Galactic Empire isn't our enemy. They're our catalyst. In orbit, Ladavir watched in horror as human quantum signatures began appearing throughout the fleet. Sir, she reported to Vex Thor, crew members across all ships are showing signs of awakening. The human's transformation, it's contagious. The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't just defending Earth. They were spreading their awakening across the galaxy. Every act of imperial aggression only accelerated the process. Deep in the quantum resonance chamber, Zera made another breakthrough. Connecting with the global consciousness, she accessed memories that had been waiting eons to be discovered. The ancestrals didn't disappear, she announced, her voice carrying across the quantum network to every awakened mind on Earth. They became us. When they saw the darkness coming, they didn't run. They planned. They sealed their power into countless forms, spread their essence across thousands of worlds, and waited for the right moment to reawaken. Dr. Williams watched in awe as Zara demonstrated their latest ability. With a gentle gesture, the teenager created a quantum window, showing the true nature of reality. The Galactic Empire's mighty fleet appeared as little more than shadows against the brilliant tapestry of quantum potential that humans could now perceive. Their weapons are nothing, Zara explained. They're trying to fight the ocean with a bucket. We are the universe becoming conscious of itself again. Admiral Thorne received word that the quantum awakening had spread to every corner of Earth. Humans were no longer just defending, they were creating. New forms of technology, art, and understanding emerged as people accessed increasingly deeper levels of their ancestral memory. But with this power came a sobering realization. Marcus, studying the quantum equations, discovered a warning. There's a reason the ancestrals sealed their power away, he told Dr. Williams. Some abilities are too vast to be wielded safely. If we're not careful, we could become the very darkness they fought against. The future of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy, now balanced on a knife's edge. Humanity had to master their awakening powers while remembering the wisdom that led their ancestors to seal them away in the first place. In the quantum resonance chamber, Zara looked up suddenly, her eyes wide. "They're coming," she whispered. "The Empire's final weapon, the one they swore never to use." Above Earth, High Commander Vex Thor gave the order that would either save his empire or doom it entirely. "Release the Void Dancers," he commanded. "Let's see how these awakened humans handle the unmaking of reality itself." The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine not just the fate of humanity, but the very nature of consciousness in the universe. The real question was, would humanity's awakening lead to enlightenment or destruction? In the Rocky Mountain facility, Dr. Williams watched the quantum readings spike to unprecedented levels. The next phase of the awakening was about to begin, and no one, not even the ancestrals themselves, could predict what humanity would become. The Void Dancers emerged from the Drachnid flagship like tears in the fabric of reality. Ancient weapons, forbidden by every civilized race in the galaxy, they were beams of pure entropy, designed to unravel the fundamental forces that held the universe together. But as they descended toward Earth, something unexpected happened. Zara Ibrahim, standing in the quantum resonance chamber, smiled. "Finally," she said, "now we remember everything." The presence of the Void Dancers triggered the deepest seals in human DNA, releasing not just power, but the full memory of why the ancestrals had chosen this path. Through the global quantum network, every human experienced the truth of their origins. They saw the ancient war that had nearly torn reality apart. The ancestrals, at the height of their power, had faced a choice: continue fighting and risk the collapse of all existence, or find another way. They chose to hide their power in plain sight, seeding it throughout the galaxy in seemingly primitive species that would evolve to reclaim it when the time was right. Professor Tanaka, working with quantum equations that now made perfect sense, explained it to the Emergency Council. "We were never meant to be permanent vessels," she said. "We're the chrysalis, not the final form. The ancestrals didn't just give us their power, they gave us the wisdom to use it properly." As the Void Dancers approached, humans worldwide began accessing abilities that defied comprehension. Children in Tokyo played with probability itself, reshaping local events by adjusting quantum possibilities. Farmers in Kenya learned to communicate with the fundamental forces of nature, asking the earth itself to yield its bounty. But the most significant change was in consciousness. The awakening wasn't just about power, it was about understanding. "The Empire's mistake," Marcus explained, watching the Void Dancers through quantum sight, "was thinking this was a war. It's not. It's an evolution. And they're part of it too." He was right. Throughout the Drachnid fleet, more crew members began experiencing the awakening. Lidavur, monitoring the phenomenon, made a stunning discovery. "Commander," she reported, her scales shifting to pure white in shock, "our own DNA. It contains the same seals. We're part of their plan too." High Commander Vex Thor, watching his empire crumble as more worlds reported quantum awakenings, finally understood. The Drachnid Empire hadn't conquered those worlds by accident. They had been unconsciously gathering all the seeded species together, preparing for this moment. In the Rocky Mountain facility, Dr. Williams worked with Zara to access the deepest layers of ancestral memory. What they found changed everything they thought they knew about their mission. "The Void Dancers," Zara explained, her consciousness extended across multiple dimensions. "They're not weapons. Their keys. The final keys. When the Void Dancers reached Earth's atmosphere, they encountered not resistance, but recognition. Humanity, now fully awakened to their ancestral knowledge, understood what these beings truly were. Aspects of the ancestrals themselves, preserved in pure energy form, waiting to reunite with their scattered children. As the Void Dancers merged with Earth's quantum field, they triggered the final transformation. Every human on the planet experienced a moment of perfect clarity. They saw the grand design, how the ancestrals had fragmented themselves across space and time, hiding their essence in countless species, waiting for the moment when they could become whole again. But this wholeness wouldn't mean the end of humanity. Instead, it was a perfect synthesis. Human consciousness and creativity merged with ancestral power and wisdom. Admiral Thorne watched in amazement as humans worldwide began demonstrating abilities that transcended physical laws. What exactly are we becoming, Doctor? Dr. Williams, her own consciousness now expanded beyond normal human limits, replied, "Something new. Something that has never existed before." The ancestrals didn't just want to recreate themselves. They wanted to evolve. The Galactic Empire's mighty fleet hung motionless in space as more of their own people awakened to their true nature. High Commander Vexthor, his own scales beginning to shimmer with quantum energy, finally understood the full scope of what they had stumbled into. This wasn't an invasion. It wasn't even a war. It was a reunion that had been planned since the beginning of conscious life in the galaxy. But with this understanding came a warning. Through the quantum network, Marcus detected a disturbance, a darkness stirring at the edges of known space. The very threat the ancestrals had fragmented themselves to escape was returning. This is why they waited, he told the Emergency Council. Why they hid their power in so many different forms. The enemy they faced wasn't just another empire or weapon. It was entropy itself. The final death of consciousness in the universe. Zara, now able to see across time and space, nodded solemnly. And that's why they chose us. All of us, humans, drachnids, every species they seeded. Because only together, only through the perfect union of countless different perspectives and experiences, can we face what's coming. As the last seals broke and the final stage of the awakening began, humanity stood on the brink of its ultimate transformation. But they weren't alone. Throughout the galaxy, other seeded species began to awaken, their own ancestral memories surfacing. The true battle, the one the ancestrals had spent millions of years preparing for, was about to begin. And its outcome would determine not just the fate of Earth or the Empire, but the very future of consciousness itself. Dr. Williams, watching quantum signatures bloom across the galaxy like a garden of light, understood at last. "We were never meant to just defend Earth," she said. "We were meant to defend existence itself." The stage was set for the final confrontation, not between humans and aliens, but between consciousness and entropy, between light and ultimate darkness. And humanity, now awakened to their true nature, would lead the way. At the edge of known space, it appeared, a void deeper than darkness itself, consuming light, matter, and consciousness. The entropy wave that the ancestrals had foreseen millions of years ago had finally arrived. But this time, the galaxy was ready. Earth had become a beacon of quantum energy, visible across dimensions. The Drachnid fleet, once invaders, now hovered protectively around the planet as their own awakening continued. High Commander Vexthor, his consciousness expanded beyond his physical form, stood on his bridge in awe of what they had become part of. "All ships, maintain position," he ordered, his voice carrying through both normal and quantum channels. "We are no longer conquerors, we are guardians." In the Rocky Mountain facility, now a nexus of quantum energy that pulsed in harmony with similar centers across the galaxy, Dr. Williams and her team coordinated humanity's response to the coming threat. The quantum resonance chamber had expanded to encompass the entire mountain, as awakened humans worked to unlock the final secrets of their inheritance. Zara, floating in a sphere of pure quantum potential, suddenly opened her eyes. "They're showing us," she said, her voice echoing with the wisdom of ages. "The ancestrals, they didn't just give us power. They gave us a choice." Through the global quantum network, Marcus shared what they had discovered. The entropy wave wasn't just a natural phenomenon. It was the ultimate test, a force that would either destroy consciousness in the universe or catalyze its evolution to the next stage of existence. Professor Tanaka, working with awakened scientists worldwide, decoded the final quantum equations. The ancestrals faced this same choice. She explained to the Emergency Council. They could have fought the entropy directly, used their power to try to destroy it. But they saw another way, a harder path, but one with the potential for something greater. As the entropy wave approached, its effects became visible even to unawakened eyes. Stars began to dim at the galaxy's edge. But where it touched worlds seeded with ancestral power, something remarkable happened. Instead of destruction, there was transformation. "Don't you see?" Zara's consciousness reached out to every awakened mind in the galaxy. "We're not supposed to fight it. We're supposed to transform it. Just as we transformed the Empire's weapons, just as we transformed ourselves." Understanding swept through the combined consciousness of humanity and their former enemies. The Void Dancers, now fully integrated with Earth's quantum field, showed them the truth. The entropy wave wasn't an ending. It was an opportunity for the ultimate beginning. Admiral Thorne watched as quantum signatures from thousands of worlds aligned into a pattern of impossible complexity. "What exactly are we about to do, Doctor?" Dr. Williams, her own consciousness now spanning multiple dimensions, smiled. "What the ancestrals prepared us for. We're going to rewrite the fundamental laws of reality itself." The plan unfolded across the galaxy. Every awakened being, every consciousness that carried a fragment of ancestral power, joined in a unified field of pure quantum potential. Humans, drachnids, and countless other species worked as one, their combined consciousness becoming something entirely new. As the entropy wave reached the outer worlds, it encountered not resistance, but acceptance. The unified field didn't fight the darkness. It embraced it, transformed it, integrated it into a new form of existence. High Commander Vexthor, watching his fleet become part of the greater pattern, finally understood the true meaning of power. "We thought we were bringing order to the galaxy," he said to Lidover, both of them now glowing with quantum energy. "Instead, we were learning what order truly means." The transformation spread across space and time. Where the entropy wave touched the quantum field, reality itself evolved. Stars didn't die. They transcended. Planets didn't end. They became nodes in a vast network of conscious energy. The very fabric of space-time reshaped itself around the new paradigm being born. In the quantum resonance chamber, Zara accessed the deepest level of ancestral memory. This was their gift to us. She broadcasted across the unified field. Not just the power to survive, but the power to transform. To take entropy itself and make it part of the great dance of consciousness. The final stage of the awakening swept through every awakened being. Humans found themselves becoming something beyond physical form while retaining their essential humanity. The Drachnid Empire's rigid hierarchy dissolved into a fluid network of interconnected consciousness. Every species that carried the ancestral seed discovered their unique role in the new reality being born. Dr. Williams, watching the transformation spread across the galaxy, understood at last. "We were never meant to simply defend against the darkness," she said. "We were meant to transform it, to make it part of the light." Marcus, his consciousness now able to perceive the entire pattern, added, "And in doing so, transform ourselves." The entropy wave, now completely encased in the quantum field generated by billions of awakened beings, began to change. Instead of death, it became a force of renewal. Instead of ending consciousness, it became the catalyst for consciousness to evolve beyond its previous limitations. The galaxy itself was transforming, becoming a vast, living entity composed of countless interconnected consciousnesses. Earth, once a seemingly insignificant planet at the edge of an ordinary galaxy, had become the focal point of the greatest transformation in cosmic history. As the new reality stabilized, Zura floated down to the chamber floor, her physical form now simply one expression of her expanded consciousness. "This isn't the end," she said, smiling. "It's the first moment of something entirely new." The Drachnid fleet, now part of Earth's protective network, shimmered with possibilities. High Commander Vexthor, looking down at the planet that had changed everything, sent a message across the quantum field. "We came as conquerors. We remain as family." Humanity had not just survived, they had fulfilled their ancient purpose, transforming not just themselves, but the very nature of existence. The age of separation was over. The age of unified consciousness had begun. And somewhere, in the quantum field that now connected all awakened beings, the essence of the ancestrals smiled. Their children had not just remembered who they were, they had become something more than even the ancestrals had been. The galaxy was alive with new possibilities, and the greatest adventure in the history of consciousness was just beginning. This was not the end of humanity's story. It was the first chapter of an entirely new kind of story, one that would unfold across dimensions, across time, across the infinite potential of awakened consciousness. The warning Earth had given the Drachnid Empire had become a promise to the universe itself. Consciousness would not just survive, it would transform everything it touched, even entropy itself, into something beautiful and new.